no matter how high you go in your career, no matter how successful you are, no matter how much money that you have, when you're going through things in life, it could be hard when you feel like you're the only person going through something. But then
How you build wealth, how you're building your wealth, and how you kind of, or just a little how you manage a little bit with your finances.
there are a lot of good people, but there are a lot of bad people in the financial industry.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Said a Real Talk Corner. I'm super excited for you to join us today and get to hear from Jolisa Gonzalez. The goal of today's conversation is to really get to know one another, learn from one another, and grow with one another. That's part of our motto here at SED, just to support and educate and recharge together. So if you haven't tuned in already, listen to the previous episodes. We have great guests that have come on, and today we're joined by Jolisa Gonzalez. Jolisa, thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me. Super excited to be on the podcast and catch up. It's been a while since the last set in, when was that, October in Chicago?
Hmm.
I'm excited for the next one, but we
Yeah,
can.
absolutely. And for those that don't know, Jolisa is plays a huge role at SED. All the marketing, most of the marketing you see comes from the brains of Jolisa. So huge shout out to you. Thank you for everything you do for SED, and super appreciative of that. But before SED, before all this came to be, I like to get to know our guests and kind of get to know how they came into this industry. How did you stumble upon the financial profession?
So, when I was in high school, I think I was a junior, they asked us to pick a field that we wanted to shadow, that we wanted to get into when we graduated college. And like every other, well, not every other, like most high school students, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I'm like, why are you asking me this question for? So I was like, whatever. I'm like, good jobs to get into. I clicked the first link, and the first thing that popped up, it said like financial advisor, wealth management, something like that. I read the description. I was like, oh, this seems interesting. I've always been someone who has been pretty decent when it comes with money and understanding the general concepts, especially compared to a lot of the people I grew up with. So I'm like, okay, this seems like it could be a good fit. Um, I ended up shadowing a financial advisor at Key Bank, and she just solidified the fact that I wanted to get into this industry. And then 2020, I was lucky to get the first opportunity to join the industry. A month before the COVID shutdown is when I started the job. So it was definitely fun getting acclimated to a new job in a new industry with new people during the world craziness. But
Yeah.
it was good timing. I'm happy that I got in when I did. But
Was
yeah,
the firm set up to do that remote, or like, oh, I'm trying to figure this out? Or
so it was like it was I went to the first team meeting, and they were like, "Oh, this is what we're going to do in case, we have to shut down." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." I'm like, "That's never going to happen." So they actually had a plan a month before.
wow,
They knew exactly what they were doing. We all
nice.
took our computers home. I had two screens. I remember there was a point where I was getting like stir crazy. And I took this raggedy folding table from the garage. I put it in the middle of the driveway. I took my giant computer screen, put it there, and my chair. And yeah, I was just working outside. My dad just sent me like the ring footage recently. I'm like, I looked ridiculous. I had like workout clothes on. Like, I just looked insane.
The 2020, that was a lot of us, honestly. Like my wife and I, you see this desk right here. We were sharing like a desk like this, and I'm on one side and she's on the other side. That's just, yeah, it was wild. It was wild for sure.
Crazy. So I still can't believe that that was even a thing.
Yeah, and we're here. We are now. But I'm curious to kind of like, you make it like, oh, I wanted this, and then I got my first job in 2020. Um, how like a lot of our like the people that come to set are kind of getting into this profession, and some of the questions we get a lot is landing that first job, getting that opportunity. Um, how did you kind of set yourself up to get something like a role like that?
So I've definitely been very blessed throughout my life with the type of people that have been put into my life. I used to work for the housing court when I graduated high school. That was my first real people job, quote unquote. I used to work for the eviction department. I was the office girl, used to work in the window, help everybody, et cetera, et cetera. But
Mhm.
I had a colleague there who we always used to just like talk like money, and like we used to like compare our credit scores, and we used to like compete who had the best credit scores, and we just always like used to like, you know, talk about these different things, and he always used to like motivate me and tell me that like I could do whatever, et cetera, et cetera. um there was a new person who came in, some things changed up at the job, and I realized, it was my time to leave. He actually had a really good friend who was a financial advisor. He actually was the one who ordained them the marriage. So he went ahead and sent my resume to this financial advisor. They didn't respond. I got a letter recommendation from the judge. I sent that over. They responded fast. They responded really fast after I sent that over. And I had my first phone interview with them, and then I had an in-person interview. And that's kind of how I got into the industry. Just
Yeah.
by I'm always a hard worker. I always go above and beyond. And there's some people who notice that, and there's some people who don't.
Yeah.
Luckily, this person noticed that, and he vouched for me, and he sent my information over to this person, and he obviously developed a good enough relationship with that person to trust him enough to send my information to the CEO and founder of the company. And was I qualified for that job? No, they wanted a college degree. I did not have a college degree at the time. So my boss at the time, and then he took a chance on me. So it
Yeah.
was a lot of people taking chances on me, and
Chances.
you know,
Putting yourself out there too. You know, you put in the work to kind of get an opportunity, and so kudos to you. And it goes to speak that not your education alone isn't the only way you're going to get inside the door. Your work ethic, your people skills, and networking really played a role in your landing your first job. That's really insightful. So you make it right. You land your job. Sometimes at some jobs you're like, oh heck no, I'm out of here. I don't like this. This is not what I signed up for. How was that first job? How was that first job playing? Did you feel like you come in here and you're like, yeah, this I found the right profession?
So that first job was very interesting. I was doing everything under the sun, from planning a conference with 300 people without ever being to a conference before in my life, to making sure the sprinkler system was working correctly, to like handling recruiting meetings with financial advisors, to planning the Christmas party, to doing this, to doing that, to doing this, to doing that, to doing it. It was like crazy. I learned so much during that time. I was a jack of all trades, but what I really took out of that job was the importance of leadership, and
Mm,
how being a good leader can really impact your employees and the people who work under you. You could have the most crazy, chaotic job ever, doing all the most random, stupid things. But if you have a good leader that appreciates you, that is understanding, that vouches for you, that acknowledges you, that makes a whole world of a difference. And, I saw that just no matter how high you go in your career, no matter how successful you are, no matter how much money that you have, that you could still stick to your roots. You could still be humble. You could still get down on your hands and knees and take the tape off the floor, instead of asking the receptionist to do it. Like, just taking that, bringing that with you through your career and leadership, that's really important when it comes to having employees that actually care and want to continue to go when things get hard and when the job sucks. Like I think that's how you motivate people, and just learning, the foundations of business, and with financial advisors specifically, and the different practices, seeing the goods, the bads, the uglies, what made people successful versus not. So I say that as I look back, but like, in the moment, I was like, all right, this is not really what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Like, it was a great foot in the door. But I'm always looking to move forward and grow. And my boss at the time, they knew what my plan was. So I made sure to be like, okay, like I'm ready. Like we need to hire someone. I want to train someone. I want to make sure they're comfortable, because I need to like go next and like move my next steps, because I've kind of outgrown my role here. So that's kind of how I went into my next role, working directly with an advisor. And that's how I'm always thinking, is that, I'm always trying to grow and expand and develop in my career and in this industry, because I'm very passionate about it. And, there's a lot more why I do everything. So making sure I'm, on the right track and growing in the right direction is important to me.
Absolutely, and that's you can see it right through you, uh, and it's beyond just the title. And curious to hear a little bit about your why, if you don't mind sharing a little. Why this profession? Why what really is triggers that why behind growing?
Yeah, I think that, so I stumbled into the profession, but it's kind of crazy because I've also become very passionate about everything. I've seen a lot of people in my life, my friends and family and colleagues, end up in really crappy situations because they don't know any better. A lot of these financial topics and conversations that can be more common to certain people are not had in a lot of different demographics and backgrounds. And then because of that, we see people making similar mistakes generation after generation. Very hardworking people. People know how to make money. People know how to keep on going. They're resilient, but it's that saving and the investment and just like the awareness amount around money that is lacking. So I'm very passionate about it, just because there's just a lot of people I see in my corner that struggle in this area, and I want to have more knowledge and more resources to help people in my life, but also people who come from similar places that they don't have somebody that's like them to explain things in a way that makes sense, or explain things in a way that doesn't make you feel judged. And so yeah, that's kind of what keeps me going, is just
I love that.
trying to help people.
So good. It's you're trying to bring this to a demographic that is underserved, underinformed at times, and so that's all. It resonates with a lot of people I've said, um, and this profession as well. So like continue on, continue learning. Let's do it. Let's keep growing. There's no better place than that set.
Yes,
um,
exactly.
uh, kind of, but at the same time, like one thing about this podcast, like we like to like showcase our culture and our identity, right? Um, what's what's something positive that your culture, your identity has brought into your career journey?
Hmm. What is something from my culture and identity? I think just like I'm always try like a community. Community is very important to me, especially in the workplace. I think that in this day and age, especially after COVID, a lot of people are very siloed. I'm the type of person that likes to bring that community together, because you know when you're going through things in life, it could be hard when you feel like you're the only person going through something. But then if you find someone else who may be going through the things, it just makes things a little bit easier, just knowing that you're not the only one, that you could have things to navigate. So community is very important to me. Resilience. I've been metaphorically slapped in the face plenty of times in this industry. But regardless of that, I keep on going and I keep on pushing. And in the moment, it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm very angry and I'm very upset. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, thank God that happened. Because if that didn't happen then, I wouldn't have been able to deal with this now. So community and resilience are two things that I think that my culture has brought in a lot for me.
Yeah. So powerful. So good. What's what's Let's kind of this is my favorite part of this episode, right? It's like the real talk. All right, we've been keeping it really real, but what's one thing that is like is there's a misconception, either it's whether it's about money, whether it's about our financial profession or our culture. Like, what's one area that you think isn't talked about enough? Specifically, um, what's one struggle that isn't discussed? Like maybe your personal journey.
I think that something that I've really come to terms with in the last year is that, everybody's definition of success should be different. I think that, we are all conditioned in a way to think, this is what success looks like: the glitz, the glam, the cars, the jewelry, the this, the that. That could be success for somebody, but for somebody else, it could not be success. You could go live on a farm with your 10 cows and your 10 cats and your 10 chickens, and you could be very happy as well. And just like understanding try to get understanding of what you actually value, what is actually important to you. Yeah, I'm working to be a doctor, but like, why are you working to become a doctor? Oh, because I like helping people. Well, you could help people doing a lot of different things. And just kind of going a little bit behind the surface, because I think that there's a lot of people who they have this vision of success in their head and they stick to it and they work to it, and they kind of go, oh, once I get to this point I will be happy. And a lot of the times they get to that point and they are miserable, and then it's like, well, wait a second, like, I'm confused, I was supposed to be happy. But just getting an understanding of like what success looks like to you, like why is why is that what success looks like, and understanding to just appreciate the journey and just know that like your life doesn't have to look like that person, like Susie's or Joe's or
Hmm.
this, that, and the other. And that's kind of, I feel like, should be talked about more often, because with social media, everybody's trying to live the highlight reel, but the highlight reel is not real. So let's get
Yeah, I love that. And like, what does success look like for you right now?
loaded question. I don't know. What does success look like for me? Geez, I don't know. That's what I've been trying to navigate.
Yeah.
I would just say that being at a space where I have some sense of calm, I guess,
Hmm.
and being able to navigate different situations and just be comfortable in a place. I don't know. This is so hard. I don't know. This is not a good question for me, because I'm very much so trying to figure out what success looks like for me.
It
I don't
doesn't have to be professionally, like life wise. What is what would make Julissa happy right now?
I don't know. I'm feeling very happy right now. I'm
Oh,
feeling very like at a good spot right now. And I think that I'm the type of person who was like, once I get here, then I'm going to be happy, then I'm going to be successful. But I've been just trying to learn how to feel success along the way, because instead of waiting to a certain point, because I think that can lead to disappointment, and it makes crazy life easier if you're
Mhm.
appreciating a little things
A
down.
little gratitude.
So I would say success is just to continue to live a life where I could enjoy the little things and spend time with family and community and make some type of difference, I guess, in the world. Cliche stuff.
Are you kidding me? That's awesome. No, it's not cliche stuff. It's what came out of you without thinking about it. So that's 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 awesome. That's really cool. And and one of the I agree with you. Success. Um, I can relate to that because I, my career track, your career track is different. We start in different firms. You start like one like as a minority, we try to grasp onto any opportunity we're given so we can make something out of it, right? We and so the opportunity that we're given can be at a different starting point, like you know, and so comparing our career journey as next gen professionals to other next gen professionals is different. Like it's going to be different, and success ultimately lands in with uh, like at the end of the day making an impact, making a difference, and living the purposeful life that we uh, tell our clients to live, our friends, our family to live. Like, hey, money's kind of just a tool. Continue doing you, live it, and so yeah, definitely resonate there. At first, I compared myself a lot, and then I found a group of people I said that's like, hey, you know, we're each other's cheerleaders. When you go up, I go up, even if I'm not there. So I love it. So let's continue elevating one another.
Yeah, honestly, like I think that when I got introduced to SED and the people there, that's kind of when things really shifted to me up for me, because before that I was very much like I'm comparing myself to you, I'm comparing myself to you, I'm comparing myself to you, and I'm doing
Mhm.
awful. I'm like, I don't think I should be in this industry actually. I'm like, this is bad. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I just got slapped in the face again, metaphorically. I'm like, no, this is not. And then you like meet people and they're like, oh yeah, I went through this. Yeah, I went through that. Oh yeah, I failed this test like 7 times. I'm like, oh, okay. And you're doing this now? I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I'm not doing too bad then.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. People, and the cool thing is that we keep it real. Yeah, we're like the people keep it. We're honest about our journey, and we try to elevate one another. So one of the cool things about this podcast, though, that I wanted to talk about is it's kind of a different. You know, it's not talked about too much in other podcasts, which I love, but it's kind of practicing what you preach, Jolisa. We tell clients, hey, this is what you should do with your money. We recommend, and we try to guide uh, clients with their money. What can you give us a little sneak peek on how you build wealth, how you're building your wealth, and how you kind of or just a little how you manage a little bit of your finances?
I would say that in terms of how I build wealth, or I mean, I am building wealth. I don't know. My dad always used to give me like a few dollars to go to the mall, and instead of me spending it, I would just like save it. And birthdays and everything, I would just like save my money. Once I started working, one of my cousins was like, "What did he say?" I don't know what he said, but he just said like save most of your paycheck, act like you're broke. I'm like, okay. And I just like continued to live with that mindset, lived very not very, I lived under my means, or
Means.
if that's how you say. Did I say that
Yeah,
wrong?
live below your means. No, you left. You said it right.
And which I think that a lot of people are like, oh no, you're not living life, you can't live life. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. Like I said no to some things so I could say yes to other things, like randomly taking trips and to Puerto Rico for 3 weeks and this, that, and the other. So I like to what I preach is that hey, you guys should like be mindful of where you're spending, spend the line with your values, do you really want to go out to drink with your friends, or is it more important for you to go on vacation? Because those, you could use the same money for both of those things. So like,
Hmm.
what is
Hmm.
more important to you? And just yesterday, I one of my friends' nieces, she's in high school. She was like, I've been doing hair and eyelashes on the side, and I've been saving money because I want to buy a house. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cute. I'm like, I love when the kids when they listen. I'm like, that's a great feeling. So that's always
Yeah,
fun.
you instill it. You still it young. Try to
Yeah,
instill it young.
exactly.
So, SER stands for supporting, educating, and recharging. All right. Curious how you find support in either in this industry or in life. How do you find that your support group?
So I remember I was probably my second or third year in the industry, and I don't think I haven't had met any Latino financial advisors. I'm like, come on. I'm like, there's no way. So once again, I this time I hopped on LinkedIn. I go, Latino financial advisor, and I search. I found Gloria, if anybody knows who that is, and that's kind of how I got introduced to said. But how I just reach out and I ask questions and I learn to be vulnerable. I've realized that there's so many people that will literally be your biggest cheerleader and support you and root you on. And they may not even know you. They may have just met you 2 seconds ago, but like they will go above and beyond. So I would say, like, do not hesitate to reach out to people, to make connections, just learn about people's stories and journeys. I think I like doing that, to ask somebody about their journey instead of asking them about a specific problem that I'm going through. Because I think if like you ask about the specific problem, then they'll kind of try to give it from like their perspective. But if you're learning about their journey, you could kind of pull some wisdom from there that may be applicable to it. So that's kind of how I try to find like support. It's just being vulnerable, asking questions, learning about people.
Yeah, it's a reason we kind of started this podcast. So to get to know Jolisa, get to know other guests, kind of like every guest is different. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's, like you said, everyone's been vulnerable enough to share a little bit about them that it can relate to another Jolisa out there. And so, thank you in advance for kind of sharing and being vulnerable with your story. I appreciate that. When it comes to like education, like we constantly have to stay educated. We constantly have to stay like things are always changing in our profession. How do you like to stay up to date on like on that side of things? Learn. I think learning was a big one for you. How do you continue to learn?
So I'm a podcast junkie, love listening to different podcasts. Michael Kitces is a great podcast. I like to listen to, honestly, any of his stuff is great. We also have a lot of people in set who do like newsletters and articles and little posty posts. So I like to check out what people in our community are doing, because
Hmm.
they're like, they're
Relatable.
relatable, exactly. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I try to keep afloat of things, asking questions with people in the industry, going to different events. I just went to Tech Week in New York. I'm not in tech, but I'm like, oh, fintech, like that's cool. And like we could pull some things in here and there. So just thinking outside of the box, and even I love pulling stuff from other industries, because I think that a lot of time we think, oh, like we should ask people in our industry all the questions, but like you could also pull things from other people in other industries and see how they're doing things, because a lot of the
Definitely.
times people in your industry are probably not doing that, so you could kind of like be the one to start it. So just thinking outside the box.
Definitely. You definitely think outside the box. Marketing. I can't. I can't. I see what you guys do behind the scenes, and I'm like, how did you guys think of this? It's so awesome. So cool. The last one is R, the recharging. I get a glimpse of it. I see your Puerto Rico videos and dancing and having a good time with friends. But how do you like to recharge?
I love nature
Uh,
so much. Like the walks in nature. So last year is when I discovered how therapeutic walks in nature were, especially like
mhm.
in the morning with the morning sun and the birds are chirping. I promise you, like if you're feeling stressed and you go take a 10-minute walk in nature, like it's amazing. But other things like I like going to the gym, boxing is therapeutic to me. Just like talking with friends, journaling. I try to have a different like tool belt because I can't always do all the things at all the times.
Yeah.
Like winter time was very bad for me. I was like on the verge of getting frostbite multiple times because I'm like, I need to be outside walking in nature. So I had to get mental about. But yeah, that's very important to recharge, especially in this industry. This industry is crazy. It will take everything out of you and then some. So you need to know how to sit down. And I think that like a lot of people, they're very hustle, 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 hustle. They don't
Yeah.
sit down, but then their body sits them down. So it's like, don't you? Wouldn't you want to just like kind of intervene, like sit down yourself, and I'll be a little bit more smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I recharge by food. I'm a foodie. Just give
Food.
me good food. Yeah, I'm a guy. Just give me good food. Let's go.
Yeah, food is also great. That's another great tool belt to have in the tool belt.
Yeah, just get me out. But recharging and the walking. If you're in nature, you, I'm like I'm a homebody. But once I'm out walking, like if we were walk, I was like, all right, this is kind of nice. This is kind of therapeutic. Huh? You guys have a point here. But
Yeah, I have to.
to
I
get me
will have
out, toss.
to go into the mountains when we go to Denver. We're like, go look. You see this? That's crazy.
Yeah. No, no. And then no, with the elevation in Denver, oh my goodness. Good luck.
Yeah, we're gonna need some
We're
like
gonna be huffing and puffing like 2 minutes in.
like
But yeah, we'll definitely set up a hike. Definitely set up a hike. All right, we're gonna end it with some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
probably not, but
I'm
let's
gonna,
go.
I'm gonna keep you on your toes, Jolisa. All right. Uh, what what has been the best piece of advice you maybe got early in your career, or right or best career advice?
It's not about what you know, it's who you know. Boom.
Done. Keep it like that. I love it. Network. Network with people that said. Uh, what's one thing that keeps you motivated during the difficult seasons?
There are a lot of people that need help and need the knowledge that I'm trying to obtain.
Hmm. Hmm. What's something that uh, you've learned recently that excited you? It was like, oh, I like this.
That you can make every day the best day ever. Essentially just like finding one stupid thing to not stupid, but one thing to be excited about. I'm like, oh my God, because this is like the best day ever. Just learning how to appreciate the little things.
That's so good. So good. I want to take that. Appreciate everything, every moment. Gratitude. Love it. What's one of your favorite memories from set?
Oh my God, I don't know. There's so many great memories. I think one of my favorite memories was probably like the first time that I actually got to meet everybody in real life because I just went on the website like I'll help you guys, and then I just met everybody virtually. You know, virtually is like
Yeah,
it's virtually. Then
it's
you
cool.
meet everybody, and I'm like, you guys are all crazy like me. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like just the energy and like the everybody, it was just like it just felt like you saw your people, your family, like your family reunion with a whole bunch of people you don't know. Like I always say that, like just seeing everybody for the first time was so exciting. And then just always like seeing everybody each year after not seeing everyone, it's always just like
Yeah, yeah. No, that energy in the room when like the walls are down and it's it's the best feeling in the world. The feeling is mutual. Julie said, "We love seeing you. We love hanging out because we put a lot of work into it. You know, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes, guys, to put this at conference together. So we love to enjoy it and see the fruit of all our work throughout the year. Last one. One thing our profession needs more of is.
One thing our profession needs more of is, well, I don't know. I want to say good people, but I feel like there are a lot of good people, but there are a lot of bad people in the
Mhm.
financial industry, Wolf of Wall Street type vibes.
Yeah,
So just more of the good people pushing out the bad people, just more people wanting to do good and make a positive impact in people's lives, and not just focus on the dollar.
yeah, awesome. I love that. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe to this podcast so you can hear more of guests like Jolisa, more stories like this. So thank you, Jolisa. Thank you for taking a little bit of time today and sharing a little bit of your wisdom. And I appreciate you taking a little bit of time.
Thank you for having me. It was so nice chatting, and looking forward to chatting again soon and
Seeing
walking.
each other. Yeah, hiking in Denver is what she said. Hiking in Denver. So
Where
get your
see you
ticket.
there? If you're not there, you're square.
Go to setsummits.com to get your tickets. See you guys soon.
Bye.